And the stream started.
Yay.
So let me grab the stew. Let me see. That one. That one. That one. Good morning, Kirk. I'm doing great.
Morning.
Thank you for asking.
You.
And okay. Do you have noise trade stuff today, Paul?
I do.
Okay. You're snuffly.
Well, it's weird. I don't feel like I am, but I've just got one little drop of like snot that's like tickling the tip of my nose from the inside. And it's killing me.
That's going to make excellent YouTube video, just so you know.
Yeah.
Man, it took so long. Kirk's asking how you're doing, Paul.
Oh, I'm doing okay. I'm making it. I'm at peace with things, but I'm making it.
It took me so long to render out that video for last week's show, having to edit it. Seriously, it took like 4 hours for the thing to render because I don't have a computer newer than 2009.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It's like it really makes me want to go drop $3,000 on the new Mac Pros.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except
yeah.
I love my wife too much to want to get kicked out of the house for doing such a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Drag and drop. Song 1. Song 2. Song 3. 3.
Photos. I'll be very, very impressed if you get this week's.
Oh. Uh-oh. That makes me a little bit nervous.
I don't think it's exceedingly hard, but there's one that I don't remember if you were a fan of this group or not. I know you know who they are. And I think that there's a good possibility you might get the group, but not necessarily the song. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. My kids are downstairs watching Frozen right now.
Nice. I still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's a good film.
Yeah, so I hear. I keep on trying to talk Sarah into seeing it. She's like, ah. And it's funny because we used to watch like animated films all the time, but the last few that we've seen were just okay.
Yeah.
So I think she's kind of gun shy right now. She's like, I don't know.
No, that's exactly right, Kirk. Let it go. Let it go. Did you see the pun that Tim made with Adam from Stellar Kart?
No.
So Adam on Twitter posts that he's selling his pickup truck, and he's like, it's a great truck. I'm sad to see it go, but it's time for it to, it's time for it to go away or whatever. So Tim writes back and goes, Adam, does that mean it's time to #let it go?
Yeah.
Because they have the whole Stellar Kart Frozen EP.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
That's all I get.
That's all Adam said?
No, Adam laughed. I'm talking about your reaction.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was waiting for something else. I think it is pretty funny. Sorry.
Forget it now, man. That's just a pity laugh.
No, I thought you were... No, see, I thought the story was going somewhere else. Like, I thought you were going to say, this got posted, and it was on Adam's thing, and then that was that, and then Adam was like, screw you, man!
No,
I don't
Adam
know where
laughed.
it was going to
He
go.
liked it. He thought it was funny.
Okay, well, good. Okay, good. See, I just thought the punchline was going in a different way. The thing was funny.
I bought you this dove.
Yeah. So, whatever. Okay.
This does not look good for Homestar Runner.
Good news. I'm the desktop today. On the desktop today, maybe. I'm trying to read Kirk's message, but he said no instead of on, I think. It says, good news, I'm on the desktop today with an actual hard line. Bad news, I'm also editing a wedding video while watching.
Oh, that's just worse than hell. I've done that before. You have my sympathies, dude.
So I had a buddy of mine call me last night, and he's getting remarried. His wife took her life a couple of years ago. and he actually reconnected with a high school or a junior high sweetheart.
Right.
They were together in junior high and then kind of went their separate ways, and they've reconnected since then, and so they're getting married in just a few weeks. And he calls me up, and he starts the whole conversation with, "Chris, how you doing, buddy?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop," because it's one
how
of those.
much do you need?
We haven't we haven't talked in forever, and it was just kind of that random phone call. That feeling you get, like, okay, he's gonna ask me for something, and he goes,
I'm not an organ donor.
He goes, so do you do video stuff? And I said, no, no, I don't do video stuff. I stay as far away from video editing as possible. It's too time consuming, and I don't have the patience for it. And so he's like, well, we're getting married, and it's turning into a bigger deal and than we'd originally wanted. It was just going to be like a few friends and family, blah, blah, blah. But we've decided we should probably have this tape, but we don't want to go out and hire this professional. So I gave him a couple recommendations, but I thought it was funny how as soon as the phone rang, it was a number I didn't recognize, so I almost didn't answer it. But I did. It was my buddy, and he's like, I could just feel the time coming for the ask. You know how you get that feeling?
Oh yeah.
So
I usually get all of those, and luckily this doesn't happen as often as it used to, but back when the Christian Rock 20 was just starting to get its legs underneath it and people were starting to air it, I was getting all of the wonderful people who were like, I found your show online, and I'm wanting to do something similar but different, and I was wondering if you had any advice maybe for me on how to get somebody to take me seriously. I'm like, well, first off, you need to drop the uhs.
Yeah.
Second of all, don't call people like me and do this.
Right.
This is my cell phone. I'm sitting here trying to watch SpongeBob, and you're calling me and wanting to know my secrets so that you can make a show that's just similar enough to mine to where you can bump me off. No! With the love of Jesus. But no!
Yeah, exactly. It's funny.
No, I'm just kidding. I actually gave some tips to people like that, but most of them, I could tell I totally got off of the train instantly by just saying, you do realize this makes no money at all, right?
Yeah.
You do realize you're not going to make any money at this, right? Like, there's no chance. Like, you're going to
realize I
money
spend
into this
like 6 to 8 hours a week doing my show
for nothing. Just to get phone calls from people like you.
And actually, I had to spend money in order to buy the gear and
replace gear along the way. And odds are I had to pay for all of my promos that I had, the voiceover work for the promos that I have. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because those don't just fall off trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a big thing in the the Facebook page that I am for radio production people.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys are ultimate pros that work for big conglomerates and that kind of stuff. So, they get paid decently to do what they do, but there's all this frustration with these websites that offer you, $1 voiceovers. You can get, 10 podcast voiceovers for $5 or something like that. Right. And they're so frustrated because people, when you begin to commoditize what they do like that, people don't understand.
Right.
That it's, they don't understand that it is an art, and that you should get paid for being good at what you do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just true. It is irritating. Well, that's like, I always get people who are like, well, why don't you just make a website for voiceovers? I'm like, because there's 1,000 of those out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've got the weird thing that would make me stand out enough to make that work.
Yeah.
So,
Kirk, I have no idea what the Wally Show podcast is.
The Wally Show is the Way FM morning show, I think.
Oh, okay. He's asking if we listen to the Wally Show.
Yeah. No, I see that. I'm on there too.
Oh,
yeah. I've listened to the show a couple of times. I'm constantly amazed by how much the show gets away with. Not to say that I'm condemning them in any way. They say stuff on that show that I'm just like, wow, they actually said that. And yeah, I'm like, I would never say that on mine. And I don't technically have a boss, but I'm just, I don't know. I'm happy for him that it works. It must be wonderful to have that kind of freedom. I don't feel like I do, but
yeah. Well, no, because you're aired. I mean, Tim and I have some freedom.
Yeah.
We can get away with a lot more than some others.
Right.
But, we try not to take it too far. I did get called on the carpet once for something I said when a Rotterdam November was visiting.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it happens. It happens. All right.
Yeah.
So I've got the review. I've got the stew. Is there anything else we need to get started? We've got Kirk, so we're all good there.
Right. Not that I know of. I mean, I've got a few clips. Nothing majorly out of the ordinary, I don't think. But I'll interject when I need to for them. But I think we should be pretty good.
They tortured Wally on air yesterday. Long story short, they did wax hair removal. Oh. See,
Kelly Clarkson.
I would not. I mean, I pride myself on not swearing much, but I bet you I'd let something slip if that were happening to me. Wow.
Yeah. See, I think on the few times I slip, it's usually just out of sheer frustration. Pain, I tend to be one of those wincers. I'm like,
yeah. I'll usually say it under my breath if if there's pain involved.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh man, but yeah, as far as I know, I'm good. I've already done all my level checks, so whenever you ready, man, I'm all good.
Okay. Let's see. You guys know he used to be a shock jock in Atlanta. I did not know that because I've never listened to the Way FM.
Yeah.
I know Tim deals with their program director, their PD.
Yeah.
But I've never listened to the Way FM. He goes through and he'll listen to the Way and he'll listen to I don't know, all the stations out there, just kind of see what they're doing and see if there's any changes we need to make playlist wise or whatever. But it's all I don't have time for that. If I were the program director like he is, then I'd probably have to make time to do that. But I don't have the time nor the energy to deal with all of that stuff.
Righto, man. I feel you.
Let's see. I know we don't have a Google Doc, but we're going to talk about those two links in the email that you sent. Is there anything else that we that you have in mind to talk about?
Not well. As far as newsy things, we can talk about. And I got a clip for this, but the drummer for Relient K has a side project. That's pretty good. And
former drummer?
No, current drummer.
Current drummer. Okay.
Yeah, current Relient K drummer has that, and so I got a clip from that, and then also there's a clip that appears to be on the verge of just going seriously viral by Heath McNeese and Free Daps called Bounce House. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I haven't.
But it's pretty funny. But anyway, I got a clip from that. But evidently, the New York Times, I think, picked it up, and so did the AV Club, which is like the media version of The Onion or whatever. It's like an offshoot of The Onion. And then a couple of other things that a couple other big name publications have picked it up and started talking about it. But it's pretty funny. Anyway, so I mean, we can talk about all that. But I think that's it.
Okay.
And then there's a new signing to, and we may have mentioned this last week, but there's a new signing to Humble Beast Records, and I got a clip from that.
Okay.
But I think that's it.
Well, I guess Tom's not going to be able to be here today. I just got a message from him saying, "Rock out, boys."
Yeah. Yeah, he says, I'm in meetings all day. Oh, well. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I'm good to go whenever you are, man.
All right. Let's see. Did you download that Sky Terminal?
Oh, no.
Because I haven't grabbed it yet either.
Yeah. I remember thinking their other stuff was pretty decent, but I haven't done much more than that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to grab it and listen to it yet, so I need to do that and see what's up with it.
Cool.
Okay, so let's see. Let me get my mouse back onto my laptop screen so that I can actually do stuff. And let's go ahead and hit record in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Rock in a Hard Place podcast. My name is Chris Cooner. I am a DJ with Broken FM. You can check us out online at broken.fm or download the free app and listen wherever you want. Joining me today, the man, the myth, the legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paul Gibson.
See, I'm glad you said my name because at first I thought there was somebody else on this thing and I didn't know yet, and so I was ready to be wowed, and then you said my name and I was just going, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure."
Oh no, it's just Paul.
It's
what
me.
would have been funnier is if I do that great build up and all of a sudden you pop in and just go,
Hi, my name is Paul Gibson.
Hello.
"Hey, ladies!"
Hi, ladies. Yeah, anyway. So I'm Paul. I host the Christian Rock 20 Countdown and, of course, get to co-host this wonderful podcast, which is the highlight of my week, and I always enjoy it and looking forward to the things that we're going to discuss today.
Yeah, stuff to discuss today, and we're thrilled to be able to live stream. Now, for those of you who may not have heard, we've gone through some shifts lately, just in time and place and all of that, only because Paul's work schedule keeps kind of morphing into this different thing. So what we've decided to do is move the podcast recordings to Saturday mornings for as many Saturdays as we could do it. There will be times where one of us may be out of town and we might have to shift it to a different day, whatever the case may be. But we're going to try and maintain a Saturday recording schedule to the best of our ability.
Yes.
So Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. I realize 9 a.m. may be early for some of you Saturday sleeper-inners, but I have kids and I'm up by 6:30 every Saturday, so I feel like you all should be too.
That's right. Well, and plus, with us being on the West Coast, it's almost inevitable that a lot of people are going to be, it's going to be later for them anyway.
Yes.
So I don't feel bad.
No, I don't. If you have an opportunity, you can go to our Ustream channel. Simply go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Rock in a Hard Place podcast. Click on the link. It'll show you our Ustream channel, and we stream live. There's a chat room that you can chat with us. You can actually give us suggestions. If we're wrong about information, you can post the correct information in there. All that great stuff. So come by, check it out, and you get to see mine and Paul's lovely faces.
That's right. Nightmares for weeks.
That's right. You will understand why Paul and I do radio and not television.
This is true.
So in and amongst all of the stuff that we have to chat about today, one of the things that we wanted to talk about was free music. And apparently the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus is looking to give their discography.
Yeah.
Like all of it.
Yes, including a brand new record called 4.
Yeah. What's up with that?
So well,
I guess
here's
let me
the
ask
question.
you. Let me ask you this: is this a face-saving thing from the whole photo debacle that happened a few weeks ago?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people who are claiming it is. The timing is suspect at best, but at the same time, there are more and more people giving away their music. I mean, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus is one of those groups that I don't think has a hard time selling concert tickets, surprisingly enough. And they've been on some good tours, and they tend to tour internationally a fair amount. So I think they're doing okay with all of that. But then this whole photo thing just really kind of set them up for bad stuff, and it's hard to know really where the blame lies in all of this for sure.
Yeah.
But no one came out looking good or smelling like a rose at all throughout this stuff. Should we explain?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, to give people an idea of the photo thing we're talking about, a few, I guess I could say months ago, or maybe weeks will cover it.
Recent history.
A recent history, exactly. A photo showed up on their Twitter, and it was a really nice photo of the band in action, but there was no credit to the photographer for it. So the photographer happened to be looking through the Twitter account and saw that his photo was being used, but there was no credit to the photographer. Well, the photo is his property. Okay, it's that technically is what you would call a copyright in a sense, that it's his own property. He wrote the band and asked them to either credit the photo or pull the picture down.
Right.
The band opted to get snarky and declined to do either, and pretty much said, "Tough luck."
Yeah.
And then
it escalated from there.
And it did escalate from there. Eventually, the band did credit him, but then
and pay him.
What's that?
Well, okay, yeah, you're taking it. I was going to the end, but you were going to the middle. Go for it.
Right. So the band eventually did credit him, but by this time they had already ticked him off so much, the photographer that is, that he had asked them to actually remove the picture or pay him.
Right.
Their response to that was, dude, I don't get it. Most people would love to have their picture promoted by this world-class traveling band. Well, okay, I'm sorry to say this, but that's a pretty dick move.
Yeah.
By Red Jumpsuit. Okay. I hate to be so blunt, but I mean, that's the way it is. It's just totally not okay way to handle things.
Right.
Especially recently crossing over into the Christian market.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were still in the mainstream market, it wouldn't be excusable.
Right. But it wouldn't raise as much of an eyebrow as this is.
Exactly. So the photographer then got really upset, and he pushed and pushed and pushed. Now, I never read what the final outcome of the story was. Did he finally get paid and they stopped using the picture, or what's the deal on this?
I don't know if they actually. I don't remember if they actually stopped using the picture, but they did send him a check. And actually, if you go to indievisionmusic.com and you look up, you just search for Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, it'll be the top one. Then there's a link within that story, and you can go to the photographer's website and you can read all of the back and forth through this entire thing, and it is pages of stuff. And so they eventually did pay him. The check cleared, all that good stuff. Which, to make matters even more fun, this guy's in Australia, so he's not even in the States. And they another big part, I'm sure, that really hacked him off was they cropped it, I'm sure, using Instagram or something. So, I mean, the way the picture's taken, if they had cropped it to where this didn't happen, then you wouldn't see the main interesting part of the picture. But they used only like the top half of the guitarist or bassist or whatever who was photographed. It was just the top half of him, so you can see his face and all that good stuff. Well, in the bottom half is the photographer's watermark.
Right.
So it wasn't as if he just threw the photo out there. He took measures to say, this is mine. Don't use it unless you talk to me. And so that's really where, I mean, he was irritated that he didn't get paid. He was irritated that they didn't ask, and he didn't get credit. All of these are huge things to photographers.
Totally.
Same thing with videographers. That's the way they make money. I mean, it's not like he was just a fan at a show with a camera phone and just snapped a lucky picture. But even then, you see stuff, you see bands like Disciple and Red and all that give credit even for stuff like that. They're like, oh, thanks to so-and-so for that awesome pic from last night's concert.
Right.
And stuff like that. Right. And that's the polite thing to do. Even if they're giving it to you with permission, it's a good idea to give people credit.
So now, Kirk in our chat room is a photographer, and he's like, I totally understand the photographer's point of view. And I do too. I mean, if you do the work, whether you're getting paid by the band for that work or whether you're just there and you happen to snap a really cool photo, you put your watermark on it to identify the fact that this is my photo. Now, he could have made the watermark completely obtrusive, and like put it square, diagonal, or whatever across the picture, but he chose to watermark it in not an inconspicuous way, but off to the side where it didn't distort or damage the picture. It made the picture still completely viewable. But here's,
Right.
I guess, ultimately, Kirk, my question kind of goes towards you. As a photographer, if you had used the picture fully with the watermark, would that have been enough without asking permission to use the photo?
That is a good question.
Would the
'cause
photographer still
that does
have...
kind of
Go
blur
ahead.
the line there? I
Yeah.
said that does kind of blur the line there. I mean, it could go either way at that
I mean,
point.
because at that point, they're crediting him for the work.
Yeah.
You know, they're not paying him for it. But if it's on a website and they at least credit him, they might not have had to have paid for it.
Yeah.
It's a really hard line, I think, with a lot of people. I don't
it
know
is.
I don't know if there's a right answer or not. I would have been okay, he says, with that. He did ask for money until let's see. I think he didn't ask for money until they became jerks.
Yeah.
So-
And they were like even trying to like sway public opinion. They were like talking to their
big time
fans, and they were
smack.
calling him out
Yeah.
on Twitter for this. And they're like, so we want all of you to use the hashtag photographer's name inserted here is
Right.
a tool.
Right.
And you're just going, are you guys morons?
Totally.
Don't do that.
Totally.
And the amount of money that I can guarantee you, the amount of money that they had to shell out for the photograph is so much less than they're going to lose off of giving away this album.
I've already heard from people who have decided they're not going to listen to Red Jumpsuit anymore.
Right.
I have another photography friend who loves to go to shows and shoot photos like that, and he's pretty much said, I'm never shooting pictures of them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the same thing. It seems to me that the damage to their credibility
Yeah.
is worse than just going, dude, we screwed up. Sorry about that. This is who
Right.
took the picture.
Yeah.
Go support him or whatever. I mean, why is it so hard for them to have said that? I guess is my biggest thing.
Yeah. The only thing I can figure is that when it comes down to it, I think bands don't want to cave on stuff like this because they feel like they're setting a bad precedent or something for the future.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the precedent is a legal one, and it's already been set a long time ago.
Right.
And I mean, they tried to make the argument of, look, I believe you're making money off of our image and not yours. So when it all comes down to it, you're not really.
But was he selling the pictures?
No.
Or
Well,
was he just
he might have been.
was he just posting them for other people to see? Because he can't make money off of it if he's not selling them. So they don't have that leg to stand on if he isn't.
Right. Yeah. 'Tis true, my man. And I don't know. That's just the whole thing was just so messed up. It's just hard to know where to go with that.
Yeah, no. Kirk says he had the same thing happen to him, but he didn't have the images watermarked, and he had processed them look like Instagram. He said he wasn't offended by it. I wasn't there in an official capacity. And that's, it's so hard. I don't think this guy was there in an official capacity because I think if he had been, it would have been handled a lot differently. I think he was just a fan at the show with his camera and took some really cool pictures.
Yeah.
The whole him selling them point, if he were actually selling them, then I could see where the band would say, hey, but see, that's the other thing. If you're in a venue like that, I don't know if the band could have said, well, you're not allowed to sell those because those are images of us.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, because if that were the case, then movie stars would be able to get a cut of the money the paparazzi make.
Yeah.
And that would just be this weird circular, like I think the world would explode.
Yeah. What was that? The snake eating its tail?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So, I don't know. Anyhow, okay, so that's the photo stuff. Now, if you still are okay with Red Jumpsuit Apparatus,
you can get over this.
What all can they get for free?
Well, I mean, it sounds like everything that they have the ability to give away, which is kind of shocking to me because they were on a pretty big name record label before they became a Christian act. So I don't even know. I'm hoping what's going to be really funny is if they start giving all of this music away that they don't have the rights to give the music away for, and then they start getting a slap on the wrist from the record company, and they're just going to be, like, what? We made the music, we wrote the songs. Where do you get off?
Yeah, well, they better go back and read their contract if they
Right.
if they want to have that.
So I feel, and I hate that for
Stryper
them.
had to go back through and re-record their stuff and put out a cover album in order to regain the rights to their own songs.
Right. So I don't know, and I hate that for them. And it's one of those things where you have to wonder who the exact person was manning the Twitter for this.
Right.
Because if it was Ronnie, that's a little surprising to me because, I mean, when, both you and I have interviewed him at one time, and he came off very good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an interview. You want to come off good. It's not like it's a big mystery that you want to sound good whenever you're doing an interview for a media outlet. But at the same time, he seemed very genuine. And I mean, to me, I wonder if I was going through this and then I discovered, as a lead singer, trying to make this band a go as a Christian act, if I discovered that it's my drummer who's been doing this, I think I would be looking for a new drummer.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I mean, there's no way of knowing for sure unless the band actually comes out and says, look, so-and-so said this. We're not cool with that. That was uncalled for.
It'd be even
This
worse if
somehow
it were
went
the
under
PR
radar.
guy who controlled the Twitter account.
Oh, dear goodness, right? Yeah, you'd have to really wonder about that. It's like, what experience did you think gave you the right? You had a Twitter account before?
Yeah. No, and that's,
I
I don't think
know.
it was a PR guy. It definitely sounds like a band member who was really unfamiliar with how PR and social public performance photography works.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's a big mess, and I was just reading that. And I just feeling a little sick. I'm just going, really, these guys made such good headway.
Yeah.
They seem to be making good inroads. They're getting on the tours they should be on to be making this kind of a move.
Right.
They're writing good songs. The songs are doing well. And then out of nowhere, they chose to die on the hill of, we don't want to pay you, even if it was $500 for that photo, which feels a little steep. But even if it was $500 for that photo, they should have just paid it and shut up.
I agree.
So
where can people go to download the music, Paul? Have you said yet?
I don't know, but I'm sure if you follow their Facebook or their Twitter, sorry, that was just so funny. If you follow any of their social media and you still like them, I'm sure you'll find out about it. And then of course, their website, I would imagine it will be through one of those versions that they will release the info on where to grab the free music. So I don't know. I'll probably grab it just for kicks. But at the same time, it's going to be hard for them to come back from that. Now, mind you, I'm sure there will be a lot of people who are just kind of passive fans who are okay, who don't, spend a lot of time reading up on Christian rock news or listening to this podcast or, following things closely enough to ever know about it. And so I don't think they're going to go down in flames for it, but that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Because they'll lose a good bit of their hardcore following, which is the ones that you don't want to lose. So,
well, and I know that there's a lot of things that people, a lot of the comments in the article that was posted through Indie Vision Music, were not very positive towards Red Jumpsuit.
Right. And then at the same time, there were also several that weren't exactly all on board with the photographer either. And I also think he made some mistakes because I don't think he came out of this, seeming like somebody fun to work with later on. So I can see him losing some gigs in the future of people not wanting to hire him because of this either. Because ultimately, he did what was within his rights. Posting all of that, not such a great idea because then, anytime somebody's looking for a photographer for a band, they're going to be like, if we do something even accidentally that's going to make this guy go off, he's going to ream us on social network. And that's not a good idea either. It's like the whole idea of, thinking ahead to your future. If you're at a party and you're getting slammed, don't take pictures of yourself drunk. Put them on Facebook and not expect future employers to not realize it. It's kind of part of the gig now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think that was a smart move for him. I mean, he got paid. I don't know that it's worth the amount of money that he got paid either. I think they both lost in this situation ultimately. But it's just irritating.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, the both of them had aspects of wrong in
Oh, yeah.
how things were handled. But I don't feel the photographer was at fault in the beginning for
no.
asking for credit or
No, I don't
payment.
either.
It just,
I
I
don't
think
either.
it degraded into something that it didn't need to on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think that the photographer ended up there because the band pushed him there.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
and so when you start getting angry over somebody who's not understanding your point of view, that's kind of that's kind of the way things go, and it's sad and tragic again that it had to go there, but hey, it is what it is. So, all right, so keep an eye on red suits. Keep an eye on Red Jumpsuit Apparatus Facebook or whatever if you want more info. Credit is something so simple to give and would have ended the problem right then and there, and that's what Kirk says. So I agree. It would have been very easy to do. Very easy. Okay, so Papa Roach. What in the world do they have a place on the Christian the Christian Rock 20? Wow. Oh, I just lost Paul, ladies and gentlemen. Let us see if we can get him back.
There we are. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Your image is gone. Now it's an advertisement that everybody's watching for Xfinity.
Oh, nice.
Can you turn on your camera, maybe?
I can. I
Hey,
didn't know I was going to need to, but
there you
all right,
are.
Fine. If you want to look at my stunning studliness.
Well, it's
then,
either that or an Xfinity ad.
Well, I don't know. Xfinity might be better. I don't have it. But,
Yeah.
could be.
Uh,
what is it? It's the future of awesome.
yeah, exactly. So, what business does Papa Roach have on the Rock and a Hard Place podcast, Paul?
Well, their lead singer, Jacoby Shaddux, has been kind of in the Christian rock rumblings for a while. I think in a lot of ways because he's been hanging out a lot with the guys from POD and Brian Head Welch, and I had heard several people who were like, "Oh, it's so awesome that he's joined the faith," and I'm just going, "Really? That's pretty cool." But I hadn't seen anything. Mind you, I don't think I follow him on Twitter or Papa Roach for that matter. So I it's not like I necessarily would have seen it, but I was just kind of keeping it low key, trying to not jump the gun on any of this stuff. Well, randomly the other day, this big thing pops up, and it's him at this big church on Easter Sunday giving his testimony on stage to a friend of his who helped him come to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And through all of this, he at the end he ends up doing a cover of a song by Dustin Kinsrew.
Yep.
And performs it at this Easter service and does a great job. And his testimony was very cool. I mean, it was very much kind of it was similar. I mean, if you want to go and hear it thinking it's going to be something dramatically different from other testimonies that you've heard from rock stars, it's not going to be that, but it's still very cool. Very much like Brian Head Welch. He's like started this band very early, and drugs and alcohol ensued.
Yeah.
Like it was just party, and then I kind of hit rock bottom, and then a few people who loved me told me, "Hey, look, I don't know you anymore. What are you now?" He's like, "This isn't you." And then so finally he came to have a relationship with Christ, and now he's all hardcore about it. And apparently a lot of the songs off the upcoming Papa Roach album are going to be referencing his come to Christ. Now, I don't think he's going to be singing Kumbaya on it or anything. I don't know how blunt it's going to be, but in a recent interview with Loudwire.com, which is a mainstream metal blog or website or whatever, he was talking about it, and he was very upfront with, this song, I know is going to be on the record, and it's about, my coming back to my faith, and all this kinds of stuff. And I was like, well, that's really cool for him to be that upfront about it. Now, at the same time, Papa Roach is not the band that they were on the popularity scale, 10 years ago.
Right.
When I was in college, I mean, they were the brand new it band. And I know they've always been a solid band. I'm not as big of a fan of their style as it's morphed into from their last couple of records to where they were when they began. But at the same time, they've always been solid, and I think it's cool to see where that's going to go. I don't think, as of this point, any of the rest of the band members share in that faith, so it'll be interesting to see how things play out over the next couple of years. I wouldn't be horribly surprised if maybe he started doing some sort of a side project to be more blunt with where he is, because he was not pulling any punches at all in his interview, just about how serious he was about his faith, and you know, he was on fire about it. I mean, he was very excited, which is refreshing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, you know, you hear people give their testimonies and they just sound like, you know, it's like, oh, really? You used to be on a lot of drugs. You sound like you need to go back on one or two. Like, you're just really, really just down sounding. But he was very positive. He was very upbeat about things and just very excited about where he was in his life now. And I thought that was really cool.
No, I didn't watch the entire interview, but I did see part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, Kirk says maybe he'll be the new lead singer for Love and Death. Oh man, we interviewed Randy from Red the other day because of their Release the Panic Recalibrated.
Yeah.
And he told us that the drummer from Love and Death is actually their drummer now.
Ooh.
So, and basically Randy told Brian, you can't have him back. So if Love and Death does ever do anything again, you're going to have to find a replacement. So I guess that pretty much confirms what we all kind of felt, was that Love and Death was pretty much a finished product when he started going back to tour with Korn. So
I still don't think that's necessarily true.
it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see here. Well, let's take a quick break. Let's do something else real quick.
Okay.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
In a hard place. New music. Review. Red. Release the Panic. Recalibrated.
It was only a year ago fans were salivating at the arrival of a new Red album. It didn't take long for a good chunk of their fans to take a big bite of Release the Panic, only to spit it back out. "What's this?" fans exclaimed. "What happened to the symphonic-infused nu metal band I knew and loved?" Those that see Red and Strings as being as inseparable as bacon and eggs rose in revolt, demanding a return to what they were familiar with. "Something that never happens in anything else faith-based," said no one ever. You can find tons of negative remarks all over the internet of people slamming both Release the Panic and Recalibrated. But don't take that too seriously. The internet craps on everything at some point. Trolls aside, Howard Benson, the producer behind Release the Panic, as well as Skillet's Rise and other popular rock releases, was brought back to work Recalibrated. The 7-song album begins with one brand new track, Run and Escape. The rest of the album are select tracks from the aforementioned 2013 release, with a little orchestral flair that definitely beefs them up. Run and Escape doesn't blow me away, but it is worth the 4 minutes, as this B-side shows you a mix of old school Red and where they are now in the Panic era. As expected, you find the 3 F's that make up a good Red song: faith, frustration, and friggin' heavy guitars. Release the Panic is the song that, to me, gets a little too close to sounding like that record Metallica did in the 90s with the San Francisco Symphony. The strings feel a bit forced in places, is what I mean to say. It might be the song that could have been cut to the floor, but that would have just been weird since it's the title track. Damage is, well, Damage. This track rocked on the first Release the Panic, as it has one of the sickest guitar riffs I've heard in a while, and this version of it is basically the same. Not enough was tweaked to take any real notice, but where you really hear the strings pop are in the ballads that make up the rest of the record. Hold Me Now reminds me of when your girl dresses up for a night out for a fancy dinner. You already think she's beautiful the way she is every day, but when she's all gussied up, you can't help but stop and stare. So Far Away wins the most improved on the album when compared to the original counterpart. When the strings chime in the chorus, especially launching into the bridge, we're treated to some serious ear candy. As You Go features some downstrumming acoustic guitar reminiscent of old Smashing Pumpkins that drives the rhythm of the piece. This is a huge change from the original version that's carried by a dark-sounding electro drum beat. Now, I really dig this choice as it completely changes the mood of the entire piece. One criticism that I would have is that only half of Release the Panic has been recalibrated. I get it though, it's only been a year since the last album, and this is both an apology record and a tie-over. Bottom line is, I dig both Release the Panic and its stepbrother Recalibrated. I see them individually as honest and meaningful chapters within the discography of Red. Recalibrated is a well-done attempt at showing their fans that they're still the band they fell in love with. I give Release the Panic, Recalibrated by Red, 3.5 rocks out of 5. For the Rock in a Hard Place podcast, I'm Tom Labonte.
That's right. Tom is back, and we thank him very much. If you want to know more about Tom Labonte, he is the host of The Edge on UCB Canada. You can check that out at ucbcanada.com and rockfortherock.net.
Nice.
Yes. Now, like I said, we got a chance to interview Randy, and, we asked him, okay, why Recalibrated? Why did you guys do this? And at first, he started out with, well, the reason that we went with Release the Panic the way we did was, we brought in Howard Benson because we wanted a more radio-friendly sound. We were having a hard time getting taken seriously on mainstream radio, so Howard Benson was the one who we really thought could make that happen for us. And, we liked it, but we didn't love it, but we decided to go with it because, we paid all this money to make it happen. And so, we wanted to try to do things more radio-friendly. And so he goes, and then the fans kind of said, what happened? I mean, we did Release the Panic, and we hoped people wouldn't panic, but they panicked. So
well, see, this probably just says way too much about me, and I don't have Release the Panic as an album. I was never able to make that interview happen with them for whatever reason.
Gotcha.
On this go around, so I didn't get sent a bunch of copies of it to give away or anything. So I didn't have. I never listened to the full record, but the singles I thought were pretty decent.
Yeah.
But I never noticed the absence of the strings.
I didn't either.
Like, oh, it sounds like another record. It sounds like another Red record. I mean, the guitars are there. Obviously, the drums are there. The vocals are there. Nothing huge. I never thought there was a huge departure. And then when this was such a debacle, I was just going, really? You guys missed strings that much? Have you guys heard of a band called Skillet?
Yeah, so totally. And that's, I mean, honestly, we've interviewed Anthony in the past, and he's a wonderful interview, and I love talking to Anthony. He's a great guy. He is a talker, and that's what's awesome when you get these guys that are willing to talk. And I felt the same way with Randy. Now, they're twin brothers, so you would kind of assume that it would be the same. But it was funny because before the interview started, we said, hey, we've interviewed Anthony a couple times. He was always a lot of fun. It's great to have you on. We're excited for this new thing. And he goes, oh, Anthony's just too much of a talker. And then you asked Randy a question and minutes with an answer. And those are the interviews that you kill for, because it's like, oh my goodness, this guy is telling so much.
Right.
Kirk says, can you bring up your volume a little bit? He thinks you're down a little bit. I'm not sure why, but yeah, for you. I don't know.
I can do that.
So my, I mean,
Hopefully that wasn't too much. I don't know. It went up a lot.
No, you sound fine to me, but, he says it's been down since your lost connection. So,
oh, okay.
So Randy was a great interview. He told us all kinds of stuff, and I haven't posted the interview online yet, but I'm going to get around to getting that done today. But it was a lot of fun having him on and just hearing all that stuff. Really want to get back to the fans and let them know that Red hasn't changed. And get stuff going in that regard. So it's going to be interesting to see. The next album, I guess, is going to go back to what they were before Release the Panic.
That's
So,
sad to me.
lots
I'm
of
still
strings.
depressed thinking about it.
Well, and they had people that were like, calling them sellouts because they wanted to go the radio side of things. And I asked him, how do you deal with that? And his answer was interesting. And I'll just leave that there. People can go and grab it once I get it posted. I'll tease it and then just let it sit.
My thing is, of course, then again, I'm from the Christian rock side of things, not the mainstream rock side of things. But I just want to go, really, they're sellouts because they were going radio friendly. It sounds to me, I feel like they're more sellouts for going back to what fans just wouldn't let go of.
I agree.
If anything, and plus, since I just want to look at the people who are like, oh, because you're trying to have radio success and that makes you sell out. Like, who do you think's been dominating the Christian rock charts for the past 4 years?
Right. Right. No, and that's the part that really kind of just rubs me the wrong way. It's like, fans are so fickle. And I don't think they need to be.
No.
We talk about the music being an art all the time. And that's exactly what it is. So let the artist be the artist. I don't, I may not be a fan of everything Van Gogh does, but I may be able to say, oh, well, that's a Van Gogh painting and that one's okay. That one doesn't I don't see his missing bloody ear or whatever the case may be.
Right, yeah.
So you can appreciate stuff. It's these diehard fans that are like, they have to make music that I love or else nothing is good enough. That's just the point of ridiculousness. How is a band ever going to grow if they're constantly doing the same things? You take let's go back in time to Guardian for an example, okay? Yeah. Their first few albums sounded kind of similar. Steve Taylor jumps in, totally different sound.
Right. No, yeah. Absolutely. It's a very big change. Very, very big change. And, it's just, I don't know. I mean, there comes a point where you just have to let it go. And, let people do their thing. Of course, I say that, and I feel kind of like I'm just lying through my teeth about me actually feeling that way.
Right.
Because I heard the new Family Force 5 single.
I was going to ask, did you grab the single, a clip of it?
Did I grab a chunk from it?
Yeah.
I didn't really grab a clip from it, but I can, because when they sent it out, they sent a thing with just the hook. And so I'm going to grab that real quick, and we'll play it, and it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll come back around to that here in just a minute. But I just, yeah. So anyway, so let's talk about something else for a minute while I cool down. I'll grab that clip while we're talking. And
man, I don't know what is going on, but your Skype connection is terrible today.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is. It might also help a little bit once I get out of my Play MPE thing, because it's probably sucking a little bit of stuff out of there.
It just, I don't know, you're breaking up really bad today.
I believe it.
So
I do.
Okay, well, I don't have anything else to talk about.
You don't have anything else at all, so I gotta talk work.
And work. Yeah, exactly.
Don't you talk to me. Don't you talk to me, man. You better get up out of my face.
That's right. That's right.
But first, let me take a selfie.
No selfie.
Okay. All right. So
how about how awesome Switchfoot was in Nashville last Saturday? Kirk, you be quiet. We didn't get to see Switchfoot in Nashville last Saturday, so you hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. Switchfoot was in San Francisco, and I didn't even get to go see him. So
yeah. Okay, well, while I'm fixing this thing up, let's talk a little bit about the new side project from the drummer for Relient K. I'm pretty excited about this.
Yeah.
It definitely has some Relient K influences in there, but it's pretty cool. So their drummer has a new project called Birds in the Airport. Don't know, but hey, whatever. But the song is called Under the Mushroom Cloud, and it's very different, but it's kind of cool. I dig it. So let us know what you guys think. Here we go. Cartoon propaganda as a kid. I need to say it before this moment gets evaporated. You and me, we're gonna tear up this dead town. May I have your last dance under the mushroom? So there you go, Under the Mushroom Cloud, and you can catch that full song on YouTube, and there's a nifty music video that's kind of like chalkboard animated with like paper cutouts and stuff, and it's really grooving. I like it.
I hate to be Debbie Downer here, but I don't think there will be much dancing going on under a mushroom cloud. I think the skin melting off of your bones might prohibit that from being plausible.
Aw, I think you are a Debbie Downer. Don't be a Debbie Downer.
I'm sorry.
Be a good little Chrissy Poo and dance underneath the mushroom cloud, my friend.
It just there's something about that just seems wrong on lots of level. Kirk says not digging it, but he doesn't dig Relient K either. So, and he says I know it's heresy. No, I mean it sounds fine. It's a little mellow for me. Like I could picture my Sarah kind of grooving out to something like that. But
oh, shut your mouth.
It's not bad though. I mean, it's kind of catchy, but I don't know if I would have that on my iPod unless I felt it was like a guilty pleasure kind of thing.
Oh well,
that's just my opinion though. You can love it; it's fine. I mean, that's what makes us different. That's why this show works.
Right. This is true. Okay, so I have the clip from Family Force 5, and I'm hoping that the volume will be okay on this. But definitely different. And I, in case you haven't ever noticed or heard this show before, I am a huge Family Force 5 fan. I discovered them somehow like on one of the free music sites where you have, kind of like Noise Trade, but before Noise Trade, I discovered like several of their songs before they ever put out a record. And I've always thought they were awesome. Of course, this is a time of change for them because they lost Soul Glow Activator, who was many would consider probably the heart and soul of the band. But, it's still the rest of the band members are kind of the same. They've got a new drummer, and their drummer, Crouton, came up to vocals, and he's done vocals before, so it's not like he's a weird voice coming into it. But we got this big press release. They got signed to Word Records, and I'm like, ooh. But then again, Word Records did also sign Veridia, and I like Veridia.
Yeah.
So I'm still hoping. And then I double click, and this is the song. So here you go. Let it be arms wide open, bigger than the words we've spoken. Let it be a heart for the broken. If we're gonna like the way it goes. Let it be love, yeah. Nothing but love, yeah. Let it be love, yeah. It's love that lights the way. To which, after my brain pieces got put back into place, I went, what? What? And I could only come up with one word or kind of word or set of letters to describe that. And it was, K-Love.
Yeah.
It's K-Love.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, my goodness, soccer moms are going to love them so much now. And I think that on one hand, I'm being unfair because they're doing something different. I'm not going to judge them for that. But every album they've ever done, everything they've ever released has been different.
Kirk,
and it usually takes me a bit.
Kirk says, let's grab CareBear Snuggle. That's awesome, dude. Did Michael W. Smith produce it, he says?
Well, and the guy who did produce it is Seth Mosley, who was in the band Me in Motion and has produced and written a good chunk of the new Newsboys stuff, which makes it make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I have an appreciation for the song. I do. I think it's a good song. I think that the explanation that they gave about this song was that it was inspired by John Foreman's reaction to the protesters at the concert, which I think is really cool. And the words are good. I mean, it's well written. It's just not Family Force 5.
Right.
And it doesn't feel like the song would have been changed or sounded dramatically different had a 10th Avenue North or a Mercy Me or any other K-Love band recorded the song. And that's what makes me sad, if anything else. It's not because they're trying something different. It's not because it's a ballad. It's not because there's no guitars. mind you, that does irk me. But I mean, it's not. It just doesn't feel like there's that much of a Family Force 5 stamp on it.
So
And this is a single. It's not even like they're like, oh, this is a song that's gonna be on the record. What do you think? It's different. No, they just said this is the single. And of course, it's being pushed to inspirational radio, Hot AC, and CCM and CHR. It is not being pushed, of course, to us for good reason. So yeah.
But let me ask you this. Do you
Yes.
think it could have anything to do with how much pushback they got off of their last album?
No.
Their last couple of albums for not being quote unquote Christian
Christian
enough.
It could be.
Is it kind of a time for them? And again, this is one song off the album, so we don't
Yes.
know what the rest of the album sounds like. We don't have any idea what the rest of that song even sounds like. This is all that we've heard so far. So we're
No.
this,
I've got the full track. It all sounds like that.
Okay. So we know what that song sounds like. We don't know what the rest of the album is going to sound like.
No, also part of the press release was that they were releasing a crazy, insane video for a song called Berserk that is just spelled with only the consonant, so it's BZRK, which I mean that sounds more like something Family Force 5 would do.
Yes.
And I do think that will be a lot more dance oriented because there's also a song on there that's supposed to be called "Dance Like Nobody's Watching," and I've heard clips from that just off of videos and whatnot, and that seems like that would be an interesting thing. So I mean, I think that they have a lot going for them, but
I don't know. I don't
know. I don't get it.
I think they're trying to win back some fans from previous years, or at least trying to broaden their horizons into a slightly new marketplace. Could it be considered a sellout potentially? Hey, let's do this one song that gets lots of airings on K-Love, and then everybody will love us again. I hope that's not the reason. Maybe
Right.
it's just they've decided to go in a new direction, and Soul Glow was never willing to go there before.
Yeah, it could be.
It's so hard to say. I mean, we're guessing it. We're guessing at everything when it comes to this. So I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. That's just weird.
Right.
It's an
Yeah,
aberration.
Yeah, it's an aberration. So, and the funny thing to me is that they hyped as they were recording this record. They do all these little studio updates where you just hear like teeny tiny pieces of like songs in pieces. I mean, they're not like fully mixed at all. And they've been talking about how this was going to be like the heaviest album since Business Up Front, Party in the Back. And while I will fully admit that almost every band who has ever picked up a guitar that is not mainly on CCM radio or CHR or whatever always say this is going to be our heaviest record ever, I have to wonder. And I think that it could be pretty heavy, but it's just no telling for sure.
So weird.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'll be hopeful for it. So anyway.
Yeah, totally. Let's see here. Did Firefly make their goal yet? They don't have too many days. I'm checking to see right now.
Yeah.
They don't have too many days left. They're at 79% with 9 days left.
Yeah. I think they'll get it, but
Most
they
likely.
really need to push harder.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's awesome. Jesus Freak Hideout has this great crowdfunding page,
Right.
where you can see all of the stuff. Manifest is at 54% of his goal. Remedy Drive is doing a Kickstarter. Out of the Gray is doing a Kickstarter. Jars of Clay met their goal. George Moss has a Kickstarter. Emery has a Kickstarter, or an Indiegogo, excuse me.
Yeah.
White Collar Sideshow, that one is passed. They did not make it to their goal. That was just to help them go play a show in Germany, I guess.
Right.
So Project 86 blew the doors off of theirs by getting almost 90 grand. They were only asking
Right.
for 50. So, I mean, all kinds of stuff. So, what else do we have going on, dude?
Not really a whole lot else. I mean, there's some other stuff that I'm sure we can talk about, but it'll keep. Let's do the stew.
Let's do the stew.
The stew.
Are you sure you're ready for that?
I think it should be whether or not you're prepared.
Yeah,
for that.
that's the ultimate question right there. Am I ready for that? So, Let's see here. How about this button?
All right.
The Rock in a Hard Place podcast presents
The one and the only.
All right, boys and girls, get ready for
The Stew.
All right, so The Stew. 3 songs, 1 movie, and you'll hear 2 clips from the same movie. And Chris has to figure them out. Now, this time, there is a theme, but it's very tangible. All of these came out in the same year.
Okay.
So, good luck, buddy.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I know.
Sorry, I'm writing my list down. So
Okay. All right.
All right. So here we go. Here's where we take a listen. All right.
But you're so old.
You got a gift and you're best down using it.
Trust me, my pungent friend. You'll get what's coming to you.
What's coming to you? Huh?
He'll get bagged up just like mail, pounded down like a nail under my feet where he belong. I come stronger to your neighborhood.
Well, is your mind blown, or you feel pretty confident?
Wow. So the movie was Aladdin.
Oh, nice. See, I wasn't sure if you would even get that because I tried to pick ones that weren't Robin Williams clips, but still,
I have children.
Yeah.
So
It's true. But I don't know how far. I never know what cartoons kids have seen, so I don't know.
Yeah. Now the first album or the first band, was that White Cross?
Yes, it was.
Okay, cool. I don't know the song. I don't know the name of the song, but I know the band.
Right.
The second band was DC Talk with Time Is Tickin'.
Nice. Yeah.
The third guy didn't sound familiar.
You've got to be kidding me.
No. Do I need to try the long clip and see?
Maybe so, because you brought up this person and/or group almost every podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play the long clip of song.
But he'll get bagged up just like mail, pounded down like a nail under my feet where he belong. I come stronger to your neighborhood. Super C, aka the hood of good, and I'm.
It wasn't SFC, was it?
Yes.
Okay. Which album is that off of?
You would ask me that.
Yeah, I would ask you that.
Is it like 3 or something like that?
Oh, I don't think I have that one.
Third one. It's one that's like taken like in a fisheye
Okay.
mirror or something like that. It's got a rounded picture of them on the cover.
Huh. Okay, because there was the first one, which was like self-titled, and then there was Saved Man in the Jungle was their second one, which I honestly think was one of their best. And then I stopped listening to them because I didn't realize that they had put a lot more out. So maybe I need to go back
called
and
Phase 3.
Okay, I don't have that album. I need to I need to go get it.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go get it. Good stuff. Good stuff.
But yeah, all those things came out in 1992.
Wow. Okay. Old school.
Year.
I love it. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's everything for this week, Paul. We're short. We're at 52 minutes. My goodness.
Yeah. I was going to do a noise trade thing, but I think I'm going to save it for next week because
Not a problem.
I have some stuff I got to run to fairly quickly, but
Sure.
we will have more stuff. And then just an inside recommendation, if you haven't checked out Bounce House, the video, you need to check it out because it is truly funny. It will put a smile on your face. It's the Heath McNeese along with Free Daps. They're going under assumed names for it, but it looks like it's going to go viral and it's really funny. So
Excellent.
You guys should check it out.
Excellent. Very good. Well, let me see. If you want to contact us, it's easy to do. rockinahardplacepodcast@gmail.com. You got our Facebook page, facebook.com/rockinahardplacepodcast. That is ROCK, the letter N, the letter A, hardplacepodcast.com. That's the website as well. So feel free to let us know. Go on to iTunes, write a review. We'd love to hear what it is that you have to say. We got a new star rating, but nobody wrote anything after that. So I don't know. Maybe they were just so amazed that they could click 5 stars that they lost their train of thought or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens or what was going on there. Let me think. I think that covers all of our bases. Once again, thank you to Scientists for the awesome intro and outro music. We love it to death, and we're super stoked that they allow us to use it. And I guess I'm Chris Cooner.
And I'm Paul Gibson.
And we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Goodbye. Hasta la vista, baby.